Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here. Hopefully your favorite official content creator for the First Descendant, and today I'm gonna show you my ultimate Lepic bossing build. Why do you want ultimate Lepic as your boss killer? Well, it's because he can pull off stuff like this, alright? Take a look, this would be interesting to you. Alright, so here we go into a hard mode devourer fight. Now, I'm gonna tell you that this fight takes about 12 seconds. Okay, but I've actually managed to get it down to 9. It just depends on how many times he hits a crit. But this is, and also at the start, you'll see that I did this little thing where I kind of messed up my jump. But just take a look, all right? Now, in this one, I'm holding a hand cannon because I was actually testing the difference between the hand cannon and the Python. The answer is not very much, so you can either use this Astra's Devotion as a hand cannon. The crucial key is sharp precision shot anyway. But as you can see, Devourer comes down. Okay, I've hit my overclock there. Okay, activated my ultimate. Kind of messed up a little bit, but it's alright. Bang, 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 and it's over. That's the hard mode Devourer right there. Okay. So go around, pick up all his drops, and after that you'll see at the end, when I view the mission results, bing, 11 seconds. Oh, it was 11 seconds. Turns out that was a little bit better. Alright, but yeah, that's it. That's 11 seconds, and that's with a purple reactor, which you're seeing up there. Okay? That is literally with a purple reactor. So a lot of people, they underestimate what Lepic can do. They think that they need a gold reactor. You don't. That 11-second kill was without the Slayer set with the purple reactor. Okay? So if you take a look right here, it's the exact same equipment, except that I'm using the Python for this demonstration. It ends up the same, and again, at the end of this, we will have a boss fight demonstration as we always do. So let's get into the build right now. Alright? But before we go any further, please make sure that if you haven't already, register me as your content creator. Link is in the video description. I'd be very grateful if you do, especially if you like the content. Now, let's remove the cam. Okay, when it comes to building Ultimate Lepic, the first and most, especially for his bossing build, the first and most important thing you need is a reactor. What your reactor has should be obviously fire, tech, the usual stuff, because that affects his main skill, which you're going to use, which is overkill. All right? So your reactor has to have fire, tech. All right, the optimization condition can be anything. If you want a gold reactor, go for a gold reactor. I choose not to. Okay, the main thing though is that you need to have gold roll of additional skill attack when attacking Colossus. This is crucial. If you don't have this, this whole thing doesn't work. Okay, so the gold roll that is most important is additional skill attack when attacking the Colossus. I happen to have crit rate on this, but it's up to you whether you want it or not. You can go for extra damage, things like that. All things considered, he has a crit rate of about 51%, so his attacks are more likely to crit than not. So this is pretty much why I use this reactor, and I try and boost the crit rate just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. For his external components, you'll notice that I'm not using the Slayer set at all. I went for a double HP roll on the auxiliary support power. I went for max HP, max MP, and MP recovery in combat on the sensor, because I find that quite crucial for him. Double defense roll with a gold drop rate increase modifier. This is my farming set, but you know, I do have a Slayer set, but just so you know, I just chose not to use it because I wanted the demonstration to be without it so that players could understand the power of Lepic's bossing capabilities without having to worry about the Slayer set, just in case you cannot farm Pyromaniac, right? And the HP support processor comes with excuse me, max HP, max shield. You already know about my coughing, I don't need to say anything. That covers the reactor and external components that you will need for this build. Okay, take note of what was rolled because that's very important. Again, quick summary: HP roll, okay, HP MP roll, defense roll, and HP shield roll. Okay, good. Now, in order for this bossing build to work, your weapons need to be up to snuff, but the main thing is that whatever weapon you use together with his ultimate ability needs to have sharp precision shot. Sharp precision shot will lower the initial fire rate, but allow you to stack up fire rate, all right? Building up with this one, it goes up to 40%. And of course, I've got fire rate up, which will affect the fire rate of your cannon, all right? This is what's crucial. You'll notice that there's very little difference between the initial build and Lepic's build. All I've done is that I've added toxic enhancement there. I've moved Deadeye here. I've got a stance stabilizer, but I'm just using up the 80 points. The main thing is sharp precision shot, and fire rate up, okay? Previously, if you're not using Lepic or you're not using a unique weapon, firing Fiesta is fine. You would recognize this. And of course, you can put, excuse me, your element of choice in here. Up to you, all right? Okay, so for Lepic's Python, this is how it works. Now, how does the Python affect the ultimate ability? Before I go into his actual modules, let me just do this quick demonstration, all right? Once you overclock, you will have extra burn damage. Now, don't worry, that won't run down. We're just going to summon one Vulgus, all right? Activate your unique ability and immediately roll. This allows you to cancel the animation. And please take note that this thing can hit weak spots. This thing can hit weak spots. This thing can hit crits, all right? You want to abuse that. And this is how you will end up dealing insane amounts of damage to the target, okay? So, once again, now without the overclock, as soon as you do that, roll, and you'll be able to fire immediately, okay? This is how you can get additional time to shoot your shots. And of course, as you can see, the fire rate ramps up, right? There you go. So this is why we use the Python, or some people have chosen to use a hand cannon with sharp precision shot. It's all the same. To me, both ways have worked, so choose whichever one. If you've got a good hand cannon build, slap sharp precision shot on it, and just watch yourself explode the enemies fast. It's great. Okay? So that about covers that. Now, let's go into the actual build. Okay. When it comes to Lepic, this is what you're going to need for his bossing build. There are a few ways that you can vary this. I'm going to take out Dangerous Ambush for now, and this is the core bossing build. In terms of survival, actually I should probably remove my cam for this, sorry. Increase hit points, which is pretty standard. You can also choose to use HP amplification, which lowers your max shield by 36.5% but gives you like 8% more hit points. I just choose to use increase HP because even though his shield is quite useless, it can help a little bit sometimes when I'm surviving against minions. So I keep increase HP instead. Then Spear and Shield. Why? The main core of this build is Lepic's Overkill. Take note that the burst damage of this thing is 2,760%. Alright? Even if you were to add skill power modifier, it's not going to change that. And so Iron Defense is useless. It is best to go for Spear and Shield to boost your skill power as much as possible so that you can hit hard. Keeping with that principle in mind, we use Maximize Skill. Now you might be thinking, hold up, wait, Robot, that increases the cooldown by 50%. Why would you ever want something like this? Okay. There is a good reason. Because basically what you want is his initial burst of shooting to be as insane as possible. The skill cooldown of plus 50%, it sucks a lot. But there are other ways that you can mitigate this while maintaining that high skill power. So this is one of the few niche builds where I will actually use Maximize Skill over a lot of other stuff, alright? Nimble Fingers is then used to reduce the skill cooldown and semi-mitigate this, but take note that your cooldown is still going to go from 80 seconds to 99 seconds. So if you do not kill whatever it is in the first burst, which is usually impossible in teamfights, 100 seconds later you will burst again. And that's totally okay because it gives you and your team time to stagger. Most bosses in teamfights will actually go frenzy mode pretty quickly after your first initial burst, and you guys will actually have seen this on stream. So what we'll do is that the Lepic starts off bursting them down within the first 20-30 seconds. The boss goes frenzy, then your team piles on, takes care of it. Then while Lepic is cooling down, during the second phase, everybody will just DPS the bosses with, like, if you got a Glade, then it's Glade's turn to DPS the boss. Then finally, Lepic comes back in at the end again to do another full burst, all right? But within most fights, you're only going to need one burst. So this is why we use Maximize Skill, all right? Okay, then now that you understand the basics, so increase HP, Spear and Shield, Maximize Skill, and Nimble Fingers, now it's time for the big utilities. You also want Skill Extension. Skill Extension allows you to extend the duration of the skill by 36.5%. What this means is that instead of 8 seconds, you get a full 10.9 seconds, which means 2 extra seconds that your unique weapon is ramped up at full capacity. Like, let's say you're using Sharp Precision Shot, it ramps up every 0.5 seconds. So within 5 seconds, you've already ramped up, assuming you're holding down the trigger. You've got 5 seconds of full burst with this, which is great. All right. Technically, you could get 6 seconds, but the 10.9 is iffy. it won't actually last you. It'll just last you like maybe a shot, one extra shot. So don't worry about the 0.9. The 10 seconds is what's important. So this is what we use. Then for the rest of the skills, you need skill insight, skill concentration, increasing his critical hit rate and his critical hit damage. All right. After that, you have front lines to increase critical hit damage and critical hit rate, then emergency measures to increase critical hit rate and critical hit damage. Channel all of these together, and Lepic has a whole bunch of crit. All right. If you want to know his multiplier, his crit multiplier at this point becomes 4 times. So his crits will do 4 times the damage of a normal hit. And he crits 51% of the time. So half the time you will be critting. All right. This is what makes this so good. This is what makes this so insane. Technically with a gold reactor, I could do even more, but this is basically all you need. Now you'll notice that at this point, you've got 10 points left over. Oh, also you're going to use Firearm Master. Why? Firearm Master, if you will know from my video on Lepic's abilities, Firearm Master, whenever you change your weapon, adds 39% skill damage. Did you know that switching to your ultimate weapon, take a look at this. All right, it counts as change mastery. There you go. You actually get the bonus from changing this weapon. It's that crazy, you know? So you actually get it from using your unique weapon, which I really like. So that's why Firearm Master is good. Sure, it's only going to increase the skill power modifier, which is not going to help much, but hey, 39% extra modifier is 39% extra modifier. There's nothing else that you can include here that would greatly boost his power. And when you include Overclock, which is giving you another 20%, plus the extra burn damage in there, which is at a 115% modifier, plus the 39%, plus the 20% from here, your burn damage as well, which will last 9.6 seconds, ticking every 1 second, is pretty darn good. So this is why I like overclocking first, then I'll hit this, then I get the Firearm Mastery bonus, boom. It works beautifully. And it lasts for 6.8 seconds. So for the initial part of your burst, you also get a bit of extra damage. You won't get it toward the end of your burst, during the last 4 seconds, but it's still pretty good. All right, and it helps out overall. So this is why I like this particular setup. All right, but like I said, you've got 10 points left. What can you do with those 10 points? Okay, there are a few options. If you are in desperate need of a lot of hit points, use time distribution. Okay, this will give you the lowest amount of extra damage, but it gives you the most hit points. All right. The other option is that if you want to fire a few more shots, just a little bit extra, you can use Battle of Stamina. Gives you less hit points, but it does give you that 1.5 extra seconds of firing time. Okay, so I like this a lot as well. This can work really, really well. All right, if you're confident with your character, you can take a little bit less hit points, take Battle of Stamina. Last but not least is if you really want to mess somebody up, or if in a team fight, I usually bring Dangerous Ambush. Dangerous Ambush is actually what we were using in the Devourer demonstration, because against an enemy that is immobilized, when that thing goes down on your initial burst, you're going to get this extra 27.6% damage, which is huge. And this will help you toward the end of your burst. So it's really, really good to have Dangerous Ambush. Again, this is how you can kill Devourer in about 12 seconds. So that is how you make your Lepic bossing build amazing. But do realize that if you take the Dangerous Ambush route, you end up with only about 13,529 hit points. And this is with a gold roll on my HP auxiliary support. So just be aware of that. Okay? If you feel that you can survive, you're good to go. Now, I've talked a lot about this build. I've shown you all the little tricks in this build. Now it's time to actually take it out for a spin, a field test, right? I'm sure that's what you guys want to actually see in this. All right, I know I showed the Devourer video at the start, but that's not really a field test, right? I'm sure you guys want to see it with your own 2 eyeballs. I'm sure you guys want to see it legit, real. Here you go, okay? So if you're going to do a field test, we'll just do it against the Pyro, Private. Here we go, okay? This is without the Slayer set. We're going in without the Slayer set. We're going in with exactly what we showed you. Purple Reactor, everything. No changes, nothing special, no hanky-panky. All right, I want to show a more realistic situation because I realize that there are a lot of builds out there that, yeah, they're fantastic, but they're glass cannon. And that's why the Lepics die so much, because, you know, they don't understand how to vary the build. Just copy, paste it, go, and then die. So if you want to be the kind of Lepic that does not usually die, then this will be more suitable for you. You're gonna deal a little bit less damage, but you will survive most of the time. Most of the time. Okay, here comes the pyro. So usually what I'll do is I'll charge this up first. If your shot misses, that's okay. It can happen. But once he's down on his knee, I go for that weak spot. Alright, just like that. Now I'm using Greg's. I would normally use Secret Garden, but I'm just using a bit of Greg's here. Alright, standing in the murder water is probably not a good idea. But as you can see, you've got more than enough hit points to actually survive most of the time. But if your initial burst doesn't kill this guy, then you're gonna have to do a little more, right? So assuming your initial burst doesn't kill him, then you're gonna have to work a little harder. Now, what I would recommend is that when you're soloing, right, your initial burst doesn't kill the dude, that's okay. Take out minions and try to get MP drops, because you're gonna need that. Alright, you're gonna need that. Kill as much as you can, survive as much as you can. And you can either, after taking care of the minions, you can either snipe his back, or, you know, just try and last, or just wait it out. I try and snipe his back, but most of the time he's facing me, so this becomes a bit problematic. I will usually use hip fire, because there's no sense in going hardcore. So I just use a bit of hip fire and just spam him down. It's not too dangerous, not too difficult. And if he does start coming up with hummingbirds, you better take care of him. So I usually just prioritize the minions. You might say, wait, why are you prioritizing minions of all things? Well, realistically speaking, you're just waiting for your cooldowns to hit him with another burst. So that's what I would do. I would just sort of do this, you know, pick up enough MP. Thanks to the MP recovery in combat too. And when you're ready, you can just go burst again. Now he might enrage, but that's okay, even if he does. Alright, just burst again and he's done. So this is Lepic's main thing, and of course this will work in a team fight as well. It won't just work here, it'll work in a team fight, but the main thing that you gotta understand is that if you're gonna run Lepic, alright, if your initial burst does not kill the target, you're gonna have to set up for another burst. And with Devourer, Devourer is extremely weak. He's got like practically no hit points. So it's easy enough to kill him. But with things like the Pyromaniac, more realistic clear time is about 2 minutes. Alright, so this will allow you to not be a glass cannon, but it will still take you some time to kill the bosses, so just be aware of that. That's why you need survival. As you go up in the number of bosses, the bosses are going to get tougher, they are going to get stronger, and they are going to hurt you. So if the bosses are going to hurt you, then you better be ready. Alright, you better be ready. So if you're gonna be ready, you do 0 DPS when you're dead. And if people are picking you up, they're not dealing DPS either. Alright? So don't be that Lepic that can do one burst, be a one pump chump, and then you can't do anything further. You have to be able to take care of yourself. You have to be able to solo beyond just the first boss. Alright? Okay. That's great. Thank you very much for watching the demonstration of this. I hope you guys have enjoyed my Lepic video. I hope you guys now understand how to make a proper bossing Lepic. One quick summary before we go. So Reactor, I'm just using a purple Reactor, but the most important thing is additional skill attack versus Colossus. You guys already know about the external components. If not, fast forward to that section. For whatever weapon you choose to use, sharp precision shot is the crucial key. Without this, you will find yourself doing a lot less. Okay, you can even choose to do it with a hand cannon like the Zastra's, a perforator, or whatever else. You can do that. In terms of his modules, please remember that Firearm Master is your Transcendent mod. Increase HP, Spear and Shield, the usual. Get all the critical modules in there. Maximize skill so you can burst him with maximum damage. Nimble Fingers, skill extension, you need that duration. And of course, Dangerous Ambush, Battle of Stamina, or Time Distribution, up to you, your choice. Okay? So that brings us to the end. That covers everything we need to know here. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Before you go, don't forget to register me as your content creator if you enjoy my content. And of course, we've got some shoutouts to do. So while you're liking, sharing, and subscribing, take note, excuse me, of these amazing individuals that have kept up their membership and truly helped this channel to succeed. These guys are amazing. I love them all. BVS Fang at the only fan level, Princess Star Trek, Hoodie Arcane Silver, and Death Dawning at Plus Ultra, George Tishon and Nisk at the only fan level. Thank you guys so much, alright? We also have to thank the top supporters on stream, alright? These are some amazing individuals that have given me a lot of love. Top tipper is Luke Greenfield. Top super chatter RR Odyssey. Top super chat list includes Sebastian Lachance, George Tishon, TX Panda King, Sir Tommy Gunn, CU Yuri, Death Dawning 982, I3XO, Atomic John, Ted Wu, Phil the Megapint, BVS Fang. Thank you guys so much. Top channel membership gifter is TX Panda King. Thank you so much for everything. You guys have been amazing. I will see you guys on the next one. Alright. And if you want to be in on this ranking, you know what to do, right? See you guys on the next video. Enjoy your bossing, Lepic. I'll catch you on the next one.